Welcome back to the Totally Random Talk Show. Now, our points today are going to be a Pixar lamp, kangaroos, hats, helicopters, and then 2 random words. Let's get started. So, the Pixar lamp. I'm not really sure where that started at all. All I know is it shows up in every Pixar movie.
Yeah, I think it's from one of their early animations. Like, they had some animations that made up Pixar, kind of, I guess, before Toy Story, that weren't like movies, but it was like a moving hand or stuff like that. So I think the lamp is from that. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember exactly because I saw a video on it and everything about like the Pixar ball and the lamp. But all I know is it's from one of their really early animations, probably in like early 90s, like maybe 91, maybe even 1990. I don't know. Somewhere around there.
I have seen some of the original Pixar stuff, and it's horrifying. Like, if you ever have the time, and if you have Disney Plus, watch Tin Toy. That thing is so scary. Give me nightmares. And you'll see why if you watch it. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's because, like, at first, they were just getting it, moving instead of looking good. I mean, we talked about this earlier on an earlier podcast about the Ice Age baby. He doesn't look good, but he moves fine,
Yeah. So, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. Or else you'd have, like, a gorgeous character that does nothing.
Just sits there. So our next point today is on kangaroos.
Okay, so before we start, kangaroos, they're the best animals and they're my favorite. So yes. Anyways, one thing I think that's interesting about kangaroos is, like, they're nowhere else, like, in the wild than Australia, which is kind of strange if you think about it, because Australia is an island, and I think it's kind of similar, like, with the Galapagos Islands, how there's, like, different animals and species there that aren't anywhere else. It's just interesting to think, how did they get there? So yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. Because, wasn't it that horses originated from Europe, and there was no such thing as a horse in, like, North or South America until they brought them over?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Like, we wouldn't have horses, or even all these, really developed areas. Actually, they'd be developed differently. Sorry. They'd be developed, by different people, I feel, if we didn't discover the Americas. And so it'd be much different in our modern world. Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that was a terrible voice crack.
Yeah.
So I guess let's get started on our next point. Our next point today is on hats. So I guess there are all different kinds of hats. You have fezzes and normal hats.
Baseball
and
caps.
You have baseball caps. You have pilot hats, and you have Viking helmets and wigs and a bunch of other stuff that I can't name right now.
Fedoras.
But fedoras, there you go.
Yeah.
A turban.
Yeah. Yeah. But
so yeah, there's a lot of different hats out there, and they're all good, Some look better than others, obviously.
Yeah.
And some, like a turban, are used to hide a terrible hairstyle.
Yeah, or no hair at all.
That's true.
one interesting thing is if you've ever watched The Masked Singer, every once in a while the host, I can't remember his name right now, but anyways, the host of the show, sometimes he'll wear a turban, and it's like super shiny and everything. It's kind of weird because, I don't know, he just looks weird with the turban, I feel like.
Yeah. That's strange. I gotta watch that though. I haven't seen it.
I feel like the first season, it was, because it was new. Well, actually, no, I know they had a show in a different country, and so the American one isn't the first, but it was, like their first season and everything, so they're figuring it out. But now they've done a couple, or I think 2 more seasons, and so it's more developed. I think it's a fun show.
Yeah. So, our next point today is on helicopters.
Now, helicopters are very interesting. Have you seen any of those videos where there's helicopters and it looks like the blades aren't moving because of the camera shutter speed? I feel like anything that can do that with a camera, like make it look like it's just floating, is pretty awesome. But honestly, helicopters are kind of scary because, I don't know, it doesn't seem as safe as a plane, but it also depends on who's flying.
Helicopters weren't even meant to fly. Like, they weren't supposed to be able to even lift off the ground. Yet somehow they do.
Yeah.
And
what's weird? Yeah. And what's weird is they can like move from side to side with a blade on the top. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't think anyone except for helicopter pilots knows how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that my dad could tell us how that works because he is a helicopter pilot. But I don't even think he knows.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe, I don't know, like ask someone who knows, or even like watch a video on it, because I feel like it'd be interesting to figure that out. And I wonder who came up with that crazy idea. I always like wonder, how did we come up with all these inventions, because they're just so crazy, like who'd ever think of them?
Exactly. Like the microwave. It wasn't supposed to even be a thing, but it was on accident.
Okay, so our next topic, here's what we're gonna do. I have a very big dictionary here, 600 pages.
I have one too.
I'll do one from my dictionary, and you can do one from your dictionary. I'm gonna ask Alexa, give me a random number from 1 to 632.
Here's a number between 1 and 632. It's 202.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but the number is 202. So let's go to that page in my handy-dandy dictionary. If I look at the top, let's see. I don't know. Flour, like used for baking. Flour. So that's our first random word, and now
our second random word is mermaid.
Okay, so let's start out with flour. Flour is an interesting thing because you use it for lots of baking, like almost everything, and you can, and also for like breading stuff, like I don't know, like chicken. But
it tastes terrible alone. Never eat just.
What's funny is I saw this video that was like all-purpose flour, because it says that on the bag sometimes. And they were using it for like brushing their teeth, like cleaning stuff. I don't know, it was great. But I feel like flour is kind of weird because I don't know. I feel like baking in general uses a lot of science, and again, it's like helicopters. You know, it's crazy how people kind of figured it out. Because I don't know, if you're just going about your day, you wouldn't really think about that kind of. And
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of weird how some people they say like if anything has flour in it, you can get sick from it if it's not cooked or like baked. I don't know. And nobody really has ever said if it's true or not.
That's weird.
Do you have anything to add?
I was just gonna say I made like homemade cheese sauce today. You know, like how you'd buy like the giant can of queso and throw it in your crock pot, dip some chips in it. But yeah, I made some homemade stuff and it had flour in it as like an agent to kind of thicken the cheese spread, and it was really good. So like, I mean, flour isn't just for baking. Flour, it really comes in everything, if you think about it.
Yeah, even like things you wouldn't think it'd be in.
Yeah.
It could be for savory or sweet, which is interesting. It's like holds everything together.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to start on our final random word?
Sure.
Pick?
Our final random word for today is mermaids. Are they real or are they fake? We will never know. But I do know this. Mermaids are like in a lot of movies and fairy tales and a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, mermaids are in movies, but also Bigfoot. So really, they could be real. They couldn't be real as well. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like they're mermaids now more than people thinking they're real. We think more in like all of our like pop culture or whatever about mermaids, you know, because they really are in a lot of things. There's like full TV shows about mermaids and just that, and they're in a lot of things, and I feel like they've become more than just a fairy tale. I don't know, part of like entertainment.
Yeah.
But I wonder who thought, oh yeah, it'd be hot if there was a girl that was half fish. It's like, what? and like some of them, like sirens, they like sing to you and try and like kill you. So it's like there's good and bad.
I don't know if you've ever seen like the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
But the mermaids in that movie always freak me out.
And then there's that one mermaid they put in you're like holding with water so that she can stay alive. And there's that one, is he like I think he's a missionary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a missionary.
I think maybe Catholic, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was a Catholic.
That one. Yeah, and he's like, well, forget my beliefs. I'm going down with this girl because she's awesome.
Yeah. But very, very strange. I feel like every movie just gradually gets worse.
It's like they run out of ideas and then they have a few good ones, but they're not executed very well.
See, like, I think they stopped at the fourth one and then they finally had a good idea, so they made a fifth. And it was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It helps
that the first one is always the best.
Yeah, but I think it always helps when you have stuff like, you know, fairy tales and monsters and things. I think it helps to have better computer technology because you can tell the story better, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's all our topics for today. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. And as always, stay random.
Yeah, stay random. And we'll see you next time.